Hi, Soul Family. Hear the song playing? It's Run Away Now, Run Away With Me. This talks about a guy and a girl that grew up together, and her dad didn't like him, but they used to sneak out and they used to meet. There's a wish going by the window right now. And he fell in love with her, and her parents didn't want her with him. They used to sneak out, and then it got, she said, let's run away, start a life somewhere else in a different place. And then it got into, we grew up and we had to start making money, and life goes on. Let me turn this down so I don't get distracted, because yesterday, the reading that I put out yesterday was powerful, and it showed, it ended up fast turning into the subject of sexual abuse. And it turned into something last night, which was good, because there was a lot of people that needed that message. And I tell you that I dream with so many people, right? I dream with my twin, I dream with my clients, I dream with people from past lives. I go into the future, I go into the past. It's quite confusing. But everything you're going through is designed to help you deal with what it is that you've asked for. I've also told you that, so in some way I've asked for this. Stupid me. Hold on a second. So you guys can hear me while I gotta get my water. So yesterday, I spoke about how I'm not certain truly what happened in the life of my twin soul, his own personal life, right? I just know what I'm dreaming and what I'm seeing and what I'm feeling. And it all began when we reconnected. These dreams, right? But that's because it has to do with reawakening. When the twin souls connect, they continue to reawaken. It's interesting. We don't just come together and bam, figure it out. I told you our work is a life of service, primarily, first, before it's a love connection, which is why it's so difficult. So, I think I've told you before in the past that my twin taught me how to channel, right? He's very gifted. And I thought he was different. Well, when I met him again, I met him almost 22 years ago, but when we came together again, when I finally moved to that area that I told you about, that I was at yesterday, he seemed very different to me. He spoke to me like, well, it was his higher self that was speaking to me, and his regular ego person was there. I saw both of him. And the higher self spoke to me almost like a computer. He's going to listen to this and go, what? But that's what it felt like. He spoke to me, and it's almost, I just heard in my head, he spoke to me in his star language. So he spoke to me in a way that he knew I would understand him. And it was new for me, right? But he was awakening something in me. And after we split apart, like he was gone for 3 months after that day, and then he came back again, and it was even more so. And in the time that he was gone, I was having these intense dreams, and I was sending him the dreams. I would say to him, does it bother you that I send you these dreams? And he said no. And he would tell me, like I said, dream sweet and keep them lucid. So because he is a remote viewer, and he's an astral traveler. So that's why I believed that what I was always seeing in these dreams was his life, because it happened when I connected with him. But last night, but I've come to realize that it's not just his life, but it could be a mirror of his life and mine. But it's not just us. It's not just about us. Our life is a life of service, right? So what we are seeing is, and what I'm putting out in my content in these videos is not just for me and him. It's for the world. There's so many people that need help, right? And we are service providers for spirit. And so since I am doing my work in this way, no doubt my twin does it in his own way. He is extremely gifted, and he's a great healer. He's a master teacher. That was the one joke we kind of had. I said, my mother called I'm getting a message now. I never connected before. In my dreams, my twin is shown to me as my grandson Trey. He's a crystal child, right? If you don't know what a crystal child is, look them up. There's indigo children and indigo adults, and the next generation comes as a crystal child, but they're very gifted. They come into this world, they're just a light, right? So my twin is shown to me when he's young as my grandson Trey. Very connected from the second he came. Now I wasn't, well I was, but I wasn't. I had gifts, and maybe I was. I'll take that back. I'm going back and forth arguing with myself, because remember, I spoke to animals when I was young. I literally spoke their language, and it wasn't unusual for me. And I lost that gift when my stepfather came in, because he was a very religious man, and that would have been something that wouldn't be safe for me to have held, because as I've now experienced, I have friends who have had family members, husbands, family, parents, put them in hospitals, like insane asylums, because of their gifts, because they don't understand them. They think that they're dealing with demons. They think they're schizophrenic. They put them on drugs. And that's kind of what I watched last night. So anyway, my higher self is very strong. My mind is very strong. And so I shut myself down. It wouldn't have been accepted. Who knows what, I would have been probably called, well, like what my son thinks of me now, right? You deal with demons. They would want to exorcise me or something, right? Is that what it is? Exorcist, Anyway. But my grandson Trey, he's very young. He's 12, actually. He just turned 12, or did he just turn 13? Sorry, Trey. We don't do birthdays much because of being Jehovah's Witnesses growing up. But he was aware very, very young, on a logical level. Like, I would talk to him in the last year, right? And he would tell me how when he was with family, he loves being with his family, but he's a very solitary child. He doesn't play with a lot of people. He has one really good friend, and that person's has a very difficult family life. And my grandson has a stepfather that's beautiful to him, wonderful to him, but his mother's been through a lot, right? And Trey's very blessed, but his own real birth father is a complete, it's bad. He's a drug addict. He's in prison. It's awful. Trey is very loved by everyone. He's very protected. Now, remember I said yesterday, sometimes people will shelter another to protect them. Well, it's like my grandson. He is loved by my entire family and by my daughter's father's entire family. They want to keep him safe and protected from the other family that's clearly difficult. And my grandson was up in Canada with his mom and dad visiting her father, and all the cousins and everybody came over. They have a big family up there, and I don't have a big family, but my ex-husband's family is all together. And so he had all these cousins and everybody over, and he said, Nama, he says, it gets too much for me sometimes. And he goes, he says, we were all playing Monopoly in the living room, and I had to get up and leave the room. And he goes, I just needed to get away. He says, was that rude of me? And I said, no, it's not. And I said, what did you feel? And he said, it was just, it was overwhelming. And I said, it's because you're an empath, and all of that energy was too much energy for you to take on yourself, because you lift and people attach to his light. He's such a light, right? And he's a very quiet kid, and he's very good looking, and he's tall, and everybody likes him. And he's very much like my son. Message. My son was much the same. My son was the one who is shown to me as the wooden boy. Oh, I'm going to get really emotional. Sorry. Somebody who was a very gentle, loving child, beautiful light, and was emotionally battered. And because of that, he shuts his feelings down and he turns into this wooden boy. And when he was little and in school, I went to the teacher. I think it was, I don't know if it was grade 1 or kindergarten. I can't remember what it was, but the parent-teacher conference, and I would ask how he's doing. And she said, oh, he's something else. She says he's got all these little minions who do his work for him. And I said, oh, no, that's not good. He shouldn't ask them to do that. And she goes, oh, he doesn't ask them. They want to. He's like Tom Sawyer. and he just has that gift. And my son has that gift. Everyone likes him. Everyone wants to be his friend. And he has very loyal friends. He's very black and white. Very black and white. It's either right or it's wrong. There is no gray between in his life. And I'm very proud of my son. I love him very much. I love my daughter too, and I'm very proud of her, but they're very different. They have different fathers. They both went through traumatic issues because of a step parent, right? So my grandson, I said, you're much like Uncle Devin. You know, he is the same. He has learned, however, to master. He's figured out how to do it. Whereas my grandson, he's just young. My son said to me, at one time, something was happening. And I said, wow, I can't believe I did that. And he goes, what are you talking about? And I said, how did I do that? And I was an adult. This is literally months before he cut me off. So this is about 6 years ago, 5.5 years ago. And he said, anyone can do it, Mom. He goes, you have the power. We all have it. He said, and I've told you guys this story before. He says, where I'll go into a room and somebody in that room won't like me. I know they don't like me. There's no reason for them to not like me, but they don't. Because of they've either prejudged me, or they've heard something from someone else, or they're jealous, or whatever it is. And he says he makes it his mission. It's almost like it's a game to him to turn somebody in the room. He says, I'll know immediately who they are. I'll feel it. And he says, and without even looking at them, without even interacting with them, I will change their opinion of me energetically. And he says, you have the gift too, Mom. You've just forgotten how to use it. Now, remember, my son is the one who cut me off because he says I'm dealing with demons, right? And I said to him, I have the gift, do I? And I've forgotten it. Where was I when I remembered it? Where was that place that I have forgotten since that time? And he kind of looked at me, and I said, you do the same thing that I do. You deal with spirit the way I do. And he says, I don't want to talk about that. Then it scared him and it shut him down. He didn't want to talk about it anymore. That is my son. In my dreams, I'm shown my grandson, Trey, as my twin soul. So clearly his father has those same gifts. Or it could be a mother with a masculine energy, but doesn't want to discuss it because of a religious upbringing, right? So that's what they show me in my dreams. If I'm wrong, I'm sorry. But that's what I'm shown. So when I watched when all of that came out yesterday, things come out much better for me when I'm outside. I wish that we could go outside and do this. I think that I want to, because when I'm in here, I feel very tight inside right now. I'm quite emotional, and I think I need my animals. I think I need to get outside. So we're gonna go out, and I'll continue this. I'll put you guys out there first so I don't drop everything, because I need to use my computer. There's a lot that I need to share with you that's on my computer. I won't be bothered by the sun today because we've got this weather, which I love. I'll let you guys look out here while I get everything set up. So I'm looking for my sunglasses and I can't find them anywhere. They must be in my car from yesterday. I put on this outfit that I'm wearing because my landlord said that it was really, really cold. It's not really, really cold. It's really, really awesome for me. So I'm going to leave these ones on because I can't find my other glasses. They're going to end up going dark. You won't see my eyes, so I apologize, but it's what we have to do. So, I'm not quite sure, even remembering why now. Why? See, I got discombobulated inside. I needed to breathe. I have a very anxious feeling in my stomach right now. So my grandson and my crystal children, I guess it's just kids and just the gift. And I guess it's because I was saying I thought that I believed that I was dealing with my twin, right? Well, that issue or the subject that came up yesterday was meant to be spoken about, but it turned into something else overnight. And the crows are listening. I keep hearing the crows are listening. And the crows are the ones that are always dive bombing the red hawk. And I am the red hawk. I'm the messenger. I'm not the only red hawk. I'm not the only hawk messenger. My twin is also an osprey, which is a diving eagle, which is a diving hawk, right? The crows are always dive bombing the messenger. They don't want the messenger to say what they're saying. And yet I got yesterday, and I kept getting, the crows are listening, which is good, right? It brings me to the song, All My Friends Are Heathens, Take It Slow. I've got so many songs to share with you guys. Come on. Thank you. I'm using that guy's computer, and it's very slow. All my friends. So basically, the message about all my friends are heathens is, the person is dealing with past trauma, right? All my friends are heathens, just like my son would say about me, or his religious organization would say about me, or my twin's family would say about him, or his father, or whoever it was that I'm watching. They always show it to me as him because that's my connection. And yet, what I need to explain to you is, like I said, I'm a healer, but so is my twin. So what I'm doing this work. He's doing a work as well. He heals as well in his own way. Whatever this is. I watched for a very long time in my dreams what looked to me like an official that was dealing with runaways and, what is it called? The sex trade market. Right? Children traded in a sex trade market. I've watched people with wires on, talking to younger people, and things are set up. And basically, I've watched this. I've watched them talking to them about their experiences, about what they've been through. And what sucks is, for me, I will connect with somebody, and then I experience what they have experienced. It's horrific for my body. And I can understand what they're going through because I'm going through it too. It's like when they relive their memories, I go through it like it's happening to me. So I often have thought that my twin was in that kind of a field, that was his work, right? That he was helping these ones. And it's very, secretive because they have to help people. They're trying to protect people, right? And yet I don't know what's symbolic and what's literal. All I know is it's real. It does happen. So, all my friends are heathens. Take it slow. Wait for them to ask you who you know. Please don't make any sudden moves. You don't know half of the abuse. Welcome to the room of people who have had rooms of people that they loved one day docked away. Just because we check the guns at the door doesn't mean our brains will change from the hand grenades. You're loving on the psychopaths sitting next to you. You're loving on the murderer sitting next to you. You'll think, how did I get here sitting next to you? But after all I've said, please don't forget, all my friends are heathens, take it slow. Now, what I'd never heard before, and what I was asking myself in my dream last night, sorry, just bit my cheek, God, was I never saw those words. You're loving on the psychopath sitting next to you. You're loving on the murderer sitting next to you. Why are you loving on that? Right? It makes me think about what I spoke about yesterday, about the ones who are taken and held captive against their will, and yet they end up defending these ones and staying there. And that's what it sounds like. You've been groomed, and you're mind fucked, and you start to believe that these people that are actually harming you are your friends, or someone that loves you, but they're not loving you. They're holding you captive, right? So that just goes along with what I said. So let me read what I never looked this up. So those of us who are Christians should be part of the non-Christian world. We aren't accepting heathens into our midst, but we absolutely need to accept them and love them where they are now, who they are. Engage with the culture, love them. People in trouble, people in prison, people in need. Don't preach, just build relationships with them. Don't jump immediately into sharing your faith. Take it slowly, get to know them. You don't know how they may have been abused by someone that is a so-called Christian in their past. Okay, it makes sense to me. And be sincere in your love for them. If you're just there to try to convert them, they smell your intentions. Wait for them to ask you about who you know, which is spirit or God, right? Don't shove it down somebody's throat. Like I said, I'm not here to change your life. I'm not here to force you into believing something. I'm here, along with all the other light workers and all the other way showers, to help the ones who are asking, who are looking for the light, to help them and understand that we're all part of the United Collective, all of us. We've all got a past. We've all got a history. We've all had horrible things happen in one way or another, right? Either us personally or through someone that we know close to us. So then when we allow these ones to come to us, it's kind of like in a relationship with someone who's been hurt this way by somebody else. Yesterday I said, when I saw the spider in the drain, which is where water would be released, right? It's where you would flush off the refuse. That wasn't drinking water that would come through there. That's where the sewer would come out. And that's where those spiders were. And what I watched in my dreams, I saw that who I thought was my twin associating with these people. Very high-end, very wealthy people. And yet there was a girl that he knew that was from the wrong side of the tracks. Right? And this person, he loved this girl, and there was difficulty, and I saw her in a wedding dress, and then she took the wedding dress off, and she was going to stay in that torn up town. And then I think about that song, The Torn Up Town. We live in cities that you don't see on screen, but we sure know how to run things, right? Somebody from the street. And I watched through a series of years of dreams how people were involved in drugs and parties, and it was hard and heavy what I watched. I watched needles, and I watched heroin, and I watched gay sex, and I watched hardcore sadomasochistic sex, and I watched heavy, gnarly stuff that I wish I could unsee, but now I can't, right? I was very angry at my twin. I thought, what are you doing? Who are you with? Thinking it was him. I don't know, because I didn't see his face. I was his eyes looking. So how am I watching this, right? Am I him connecting to someone else, and he's connecting to this person who is involved in this, and he's trying to help them, and yet I'm looking at him thinking, why am I here? Why did you bring me here? He could be saying the same thing to me, right? It's very confusing. But the point is, that sewer, I said, wow, look at, what is that spider that's wrapping up their prey? It looks like it's a daddy long legs, but it looks like the crane fly. But the crane fly is a vegetarian. The crane fly doesn't feed on other animals, whereas the daddy long legs does. The daddy long legs, it was wrapping this one up as prey. So whoever this daddy long legs was the one who was preying on this innocent one, right? And so I felt that what I was seeing was sexual abuse. But then the song came into my head. One of these things is not like the others. One of these things is not like the others. You and me, we're I might be crazy. Now I need to find that song. One of these things is not like the others. And the reason that that's really sad to me is because that's a child heard. That comes from a child, what was it, Sesame Street? Right? One of these things is not like the others. Ernie would say that. So maybe that name's going to mean something to someone. I'm going to say lyrics because they keep bringing up Sesame Street. So you think of Bert and Ernie, right? That live together, two guys that live together. So often people realize that Bert and Ernie were actually gay, right? One of these things is not like the others. Well, were they both gay? No. One of these things was not like the others. So now you're looking at a roommate situation, not a father and a child, or a stepfather and a child, or an uncle and a child. You're looking at roommates, right? One of these is not like the others. One is gay. And what I watched in my dreams is somebody drugging somebody and waking up in bed with this one and thinking that they had done this, but they didn't, because I was there and I watched. They blacked them out. But I also watched in my dreams a woman putting drugs into this man's smoothies daily, drugging him daily. And it was very upsetting for me. I didn't know what I was watching, and I didn't know how to help, right? it's awful when you watch something and you can't help. And that's kind of the message about being, you know, and one of my very first dreams after my twin and I reconnected for the first time. And I know it was him because I saw him. And he was standing in a navy blue suit. And I always think of the JAG officer, right? A JAG officer as an attorney. And when he's not an attorney, he's a JAG officer and he works for the military. That's what I was shown. And so he's standing there with his hands clenched at his fists, very angry, looking out to the water. I've told you guys this. He's standing up to his waist in salt water, which now I see as tears, right? And I said, why are you standing that way? Won't it hurt your suit? And he said, it'll dry out. He knew it would pass. And he says, I have to stand this way. If I don't, I'll kill him. And I said, kill who? And he said, a man hurt a girl. Now, I don't know if he said a girl or a child. I can't recall, and I can't get my dreams because someone seized my email address, and I can't get into it. They locked all my dreams up. I had too much in there. I knew too much. And so I can't recall if it was that he said a girl or a child. So I guess that's just as well, because then kind of, for, you know, you guys it can be whatever it is for whoever this applies for, right? I watched a man hurt a girl or a child, and I couldn't stop him. And I then have proceeded over the years to watch this person as an agent working with the runaways and the drug trafficking and the sex trade, the children. Now, it makes perfect sense that my twin would work in a field like that because he's so empathic and so loving, and people feel safe in his company. I told you, I would trust him with my life. I feel safe with him and comfortable. And when I saw him talking to this girl, and she was crying, she was young, she had tears pouring down her face, and he was very gentle with her as he talked to her, and just made me love him so much. I knew I was seeing a reflection of my twin. I may not have been watching my twin, but I saw a reflection of him in this person. And yet that same story has been shown again and again in many different ways. When somebody, yesterday, I wrote down, as I was listening back to my self-talking, I hear other messages that my higher self is trying to share with me. You know how Spirit says you really don't need to go outside yourself. You have your own answers within. Well, it's really good for me to do these videos because it not only helps a lot of you, it really helps me uncover the past. And like I said, this is soul retrieval. Some of it is from past lives, like centuries ago. But this was now. And what I said was, see, now my mind's gone blank. I've gone too far ahead. It was me. I said, I had a sacred cave. Now, as a woman, my sacred cave would be my private area. That's sacred to me. That's my sacred cave. The only one who's allowed to enter that cave is my twin. That's the only one I will allow access to that sacred cave. And my father said to me when I was in Sedona, I had a sacred cave in Sedona, and he said, take your heart and a staff, and I'll show you it. This is the heart that I found. And look at the crack in it, but it's strong. Look at that. I had to carry that for miles. He said, take this, and this staff, where's the staff? I think I've taken it in the, oh no, it's right here. This is the staff, and it's funny because look, it's got a fish on the end of it, a lure. This is the staff that I found at the bottom of the mountain. I was told to find a staff and take it to the top, along with that heart. Do a blessing in my sacred, I had another spot above my sacred cave. It's a little sacred blessing prayer section, and I would put a crystal in there, and I would put a blessing on it and ask for a blessing. Speak to my twin. I've recorded this. I've got this saved for him for one day when we see each other again. It's private. And it was to help him for wherever he was, so that he could connect with me and he could come to the sacred land of Sedona and be healed, because that's his land too. Remember, he grew up in Page, Arizona, and I had a past life as a Hopi Indian, and he is Cherokee, but he clearly has had past lives there as well as his present life. And so I didn't know all of this at the time, but I was told to bring that into my sacred cave and leave it there. And so the last time I went up to my sacred cave, I told you guys, it was really sad because my father said, take your staff and take your heart and take it home. And I thought I was not going to be able to go back. And after that, I was literally blocked from Sedona for 5 years. I couldn't, and I'm still blocked from going, right? I was told for the first several years that it was not safe for me. coyotes were chasing me, and I literally had people following me. They were. I've had experiences. I've talked to you guys about it. And others verified it, and we saw the people that were watching me. And I've never been, I was afraid once. I was afraid that one time. And I called out to Archangel Michael, and I called to my twin, and I said, I feel like I'm being followed. And my friend that I was staying with, my friend John, who's also a very spiritual person, when I got back, my car battery was dead, and he said he heard me call him. And he looked, and he went into meta, and he saw this dark person sitting at the base of my cave watching me, waiting for me to come down. And I was scared. And I told you that as I was going up the cave, I saw rattlers, 3 rattlesnakes, and I put my foot down, and one was right at my feet, and it was all coiled up, looking, it was big. I've got a picture of it. I got video of it, actually. I was talking to it, and I said, it's okay, you know what, I'm just going to back up. You stay there, and I'll go my way, you go your way. And that's my message to these coyotes. I'm not there to mess your game. You know, you do what you're going to do. That's not my job. The police will handle you. I'm not working with that. I'm here to help people spiritually, right? So the coyotes are literally the ones who run the drugs. They're the ones who are involved in the sex trade. They are the ones who pray and deal with Center Metta, you know, pray to the saints so that they will be sheltered and so that they won't be uncovered. I've spoken about this before. And here, do you hear Prince? That is the dark one that was taken out. Look at those three more. Those are mockingjays. But Prince is the cat that we rescued from the drug house, right? There he is. Hi, baby. Hi, honey. Hi, honey. Yeah. Now, that is a representation of reality. There was one that was rescued. That's a cormorant, and it's running free. The cormorant is oh God, we have so many totems. The cormorant is the one that they put the ring around their neck and they make them dive. They make them work. Think about this. Sex trade. They make them work, and they're not allowed to keep their money for themselves. They're held captive. Right? And the cormorant says you will be able to dive down under emotional waters, and you will be able to emerge, and you will be free. And that one was flying free. So Prince was rescued from the drug house. So there is someone that was rescued from a drug house. I feel my twin rescued someone, helped someone, is helping someone. And so all my friends are heathens. Take it slow, right? You don't know the half of the abuse. You don't know what I've been through. You know, sat next to people in prison, right? There's another way of looking at it, because it talks to me about the suicide squad. And those are people that have landed in jail for some reason or another, and the police make them an offer. You know, you can either sit in jail for the next 10 years, or you can come work for us, and you're going to be a spy. Basically, you're going to be a narc. You're going to be a rat. You're going to be a whatever they want you to do undercover, right? That's how you work your time off. And you got to do what they want you to do. And it sucks, because if you're in the drug trade, you may have to take drugs. You may have to do what is expected of you. You have no idea the abuse of what I've been through, what I've gone through, right? Oh my God, so much that I watch, and so much I've been through, and so much they've been through. So, and the 3 mockingjays. The mockingjays are ones who are, they're able to mimic. They'll pretend to be someone. And you'll think that's who you're dealing with, but it's not. It's someone else. So it brings it back to my cave, my sacred cave. When I went up to my sacred cave, I said someone had tagged it. They had carved their initials into the back of my sacred cave, and it was no longer sacred. It was very sad. Well, my twin was lied to, and he was told that someone had entered my sacred cave, someone he knew, and had carved their initials into it, and it left me no longer sacred. And that was not true. It was a lie. It was a lie. But it hurt him, it upset him. It was a lie. So it's also possibly a message that someone entered the sacred cave of his heart, carved their initials in it, leaving him feeling no longer sacred. And that's when Prince started to cry, right? Or this is someone else that we're watching. I don't know that it's my twin, but that's what I was shown. So as I listened to all of this, things started to change. And it went from being, when I said one of these things is not like the others, right? There's that situation. A man, friends with a man, someone that they trust, known a long time, and this person makes a move on them when they're high or drunk or whatever, and they think they've had sex with them, and then the lie that's told when they didn't do it, it was actually the other person who did it. But they didn't want anyone else to know that they were gay, so they lied and said this one did it, and everyone believed the lie. There's that. Then there is, one of these things is not like the other, right? They look the same, but it's different. Now it could be a woman, like you. Remember I said the woman, the woman is called the spider, the mother is called the spider. There could have been a woman very much that looked like you, that sounded like you. And what she did to me, she destroyed my heart. How can I trust you? I believed in this person. I trusted this person too. Well, there you go. How can I believe you, right? I believed and trusted this person too. And so I dreamed last night. As I went to sleep again, I said, dream sweet and make them lucid. Well, unfortunately, they weren't sweet. They were horrific. And they went on all night long. And I'll share with you what I wrote. I just awoke from a very long, detailed, horrific, lucid dream. I'll let you look outside instead of at me. Maybe you'll see something beautiful. I woke up crying at what I watched happening. I didn't just watch it, I was a part of it all. I felt the fear, the despair, and the hopelessness of the ones I was connecting with. I also felt their goodness. They would appear to others on the outside as horrible people, but they were not. They were literally being forced to endure horrific things. They desperately tried to get away so many times, but their families and parental figures were all a part of it. They had nothing they could use to escape and prove they weren't as they were being perceived. They cried and begged to be taken away from there with decent people, but because of what they had been forced to do, the decent families were afraid of them and their influence. They felt like they were in bondage. Human sacrifices, they were traded and had no escape. I spoke a few words finally as I was coming out of my lucid dreams as myself, to the one I was most closely connected to. I don't know if this was me talking to the one that went through this, or if this was the one talking to me, because I watched this years ago as well. My dreams are crossing over. So whoever spoke to who, I told them I had gone to where I thought they lived, and they told me that was just one of the places they had been, but had been in many since then. Now, I went to Topanga Canyon because I knew my twin lived there. I was going on a quest up to the coast of California, and I ended up in this little place, and that's where I was led. I didn't even know that's where I was going. And so in my dream last night, I thought it was him telling me that. But a few years ago, after I moved away from that place that I told you I lived in, I had a dream that my twin went back to that house looking for me, but I had moved. He didn't know where I had gone. So I don't know who was talking to who. But I told them I'd gone to where I thought they had lived, and they told me that was just one of the places they had been, but had been in many since. It started out as being with people their own age that forced this upon him. But so what I watched last night was this group of rich kids, and it was these guys, and there were girls too. And they grabbed this one innocent person, and they forced this one, they held them down, and they forced them to take drugs. And the person, and it was me at the time, and I'm claustrophobic, and they put something over my mouth, which takes me back to the sex trade, right? If they're gonna grab people and they're gonna drug you to subdue you. And I said, please, I'm claustrophobic. I couldn't breathe. I was having a panic attack. It was awful. Now, it could also think of symbolic feelings. It makes me feel like I can't breathe. It's smothering me. This love or this relationship or you trying to get close to me feels like I can't breathe, right? It could be that. But I'm experiencing it like someone is literally putting chloroform over my mouth and I can't breathe. And then I'm knocked out and they force these drugs upon me. These young kids, they were rich. And they were laughing, and then this girl, she was really, really mean, this girl that was with me. And she laughed and made fun, and she did certain things, and I saw the families that she belonged to, and her parents, and the parents were very wealthy. And then there was a family that was very religious, and a girl in that family that was very religious. And sometimes it makes me feel as though that's my side, like me with my father being my family, right? The spiritual. I don't know. Maybe there is somebody such as that. Because I keep watching this religious family. And they're good people, very good people, right? They're different, very, very strict, kind of like what I grew up with. But to me, they appeared to me like Amish people or Mormons. I don't know. But I'm a Jehovah's Witness, and people don't know a lot about Jehovah's Witnesses, and they may feel maybe that's what they thought of me, right? Are you allowed to drink Coke? Yes. Are you allowed to have sex? Yes. You know, there's things we don't do, but, you know, it's not as bad as people think. But this one girl that I was hanging out with in this group, she was really mean to me. At first she seemed to like me, but then she did horrible things to me. And then she tried to hurt herself. And she dove into the water, and which is the emotional water, and she was going to hurt herself. So I dove in after her to help her. I was a man in this dream. And so I felt like I was trying to help this one that I knew, right? Even though this one had hurt me, I was trying to help them. Now, maybe my twin, maybe I've hurt him in some way, and he's trying to help me. I don't know. I'm just giving what I'm showing you. So, it started out being with people their own age that were forcing this upon them. But then it was quickly understood that the wealthy parents of these kids were all involved. Now, I've watched this, and we've all probably, or a lot of us have read about how there's this hidden group amongst the higher society, right? Movie stars, very wealthy, influential families, and they have this cult. This is sexual cult, and they trade their children as sex slaves, and they do these unspeakable things, and it has to do with power and control and wealth, and their children are just trading cards for them. It's awful. That's what I watched. I literally watched a panel of men, the fathers of these children, and I went up to this one man, and I was saying something that had happened to me, and this man looks up, he had glasses on, and he looks up and he says, "Oh, that's my son." And I thought, my God, you've done this to your own child, right? And it was horrible. And I was thinking I was going to someone that was going to help me, and yet they were all part of it. How can you escape? How can you get away? How can you get out when they're all a part of it? There's no one I can trust, right? That's where I was. There was no way out of it. As I said, I woke up crying, and I saw what they had to endure. I was begging the Father, Mother, angelic team. Now, the reason I say Father, Mother, I call on my Father because I think of the Father. But when you think about it, God created us with the divine masculine and the divine feminine. God has the divine masculine and the divine feminine. This is Mother Earth, right? Father Sky, Father Sun, right? So I call God the Father, Mother. Although when I speak to my Father, because to me it's like I'm looking to my dad. My dad protects me. My dad loves me. That's the only one I can trust, right? So I call him my Father. Why do I cry when I say this? Because I didn't have that growing up. I didn't have a father until I was 8, and there was a lot of abuse, and there was a lot of things that went wrong, right? I never felt safe. So I feel safe with my Heavenly Father. That's the one who's constantly guided and protected me and sheltered me and guided me to places and people that were good for me and safe for me. So that's why I will say that now, because I tell you guys the Father, Mother sometimes, but I say the Father. So I was praying, and I was coming out of this lucid dream, and I said, please help them escape the situation. Please help them get to me. As I type these words, I can see how this was the good people they begged to take them with, this angelic team. Because it's like when people pray, get me out of here, help me, I don't know how to get out of here, I don't know what to do this, how to do what to say, how to get to you, how to explain this. And sometimes these situations aren't so dire as I'm speaking here, but emotionally they are, right? So, like I said, one trauma to one person is very different for what another has had to endure. You could say, well, you didn't grow up being, forced into the sex trade. You didn't grow up being raped by your family. You didn't grow up being beaten by your family. You grew up with loving parents, but you may have grown up with parents that ignored you, that were cold, that didn't allow you to love them. And you'll see this in what I saw in my dream as well. And that can emotionally damage and scar you. Or someone who is constantly picking on you and showing you that, pointing out your flaws and what's wrong with you, and you can never satisfy them, and you're never as good as your brother, and all of those things that undermine your confidence, right? Or you're strange, you're weird because you're different, because you're a light child, and they don't understand you, and so they think you're strange, and they lock you up, or they force drugs on you, right? They give you Ritalin, or they give you something to dumb down whatever they think is the schizophrenia they think you have when there's nothing wrong with you. That's what makes you go crazy, is the drugs they force upon you. So I saw one of the men who was the father to the one young man. He's spoken up, and he stood his ground against the others. This father. Now, this man did. I saw a man. He stood up and he spoke against everyone. He spoke his truth. And I saw him. He was a father of one of the young men, is what I felt. Maybe he was like a big brother, right? I don't know. But I saw him lying in bed and he was hiding his face. Now, it could have been me also. It could have been the masculine, divine masculine in me. I'm lying in bed. This one is coming to me. And I had my face hidden because I sleep with a face mask, right? And I was crying. And the person said, "Thank you for saying that. I'm so proud of you. And this is me saying this to you who have spoken up and stood your ground against these ones persecuting you. Because I told you, I watched years ago in my dreams my twin standing in front of this religious group of people, and he said it wasn't okay what you did to me. And a woman came forward and she said he had a family to support, and he said, I don't care, it wasn't okay what you did to me. And next to him stood a little boy, and I was balancing on the edge of a mountain. The mountain is our Father, right? I'm barely hanging in here. And I was watching, and he helped me down. He took my hand. Now remember, I kept saying, I reach out my hand in the dark. Take my hand. He took my hand and he helped me down off of the mountain. Now it could have been reversed. It could have been me standing there saying that. It wasn't okay what you did to me. It wasn't okay. And it could have been him standing on that mountain, and I reached my hand out and helped him down. Because we all have the divine feminine and the divine masculine. It goes both ways. I saw that 6 years ago. And the person was going to leave. And they had to cross a bridge to leave. And I said, can I come with you? And he said, yes. So this one that I saw lying in the bed, hiding their face, they were crying. And then I saw his wife across the room. She was sitting in a chair. I went to her and I said, I know you don't like a great deal of emotion expressed. So this could be a woman, could be a man. I don't know who, could be my twin for all I know. They were sitting in a chair. I know you don't like a great deal of emotion expressed. So I will just kiss you lightly and hug you and say thank you for saying that. She allowed me to hug her. These were the people who had taken me in. Just as I was coming out of my dream, after hearing and seeing those last things, Siam, my rescue cat, woke me up and called to me. I was still coming out of my dream as I was praying and speaking to that man and woman. I can't see right now, excuse me, my eyes are full of tears. He woke up and he called to me. When he did it, it roused Willow, who was also very jealous for my attention. So as he woke, so now that tells me another story. As one was awoken, it awoke someone else up. Someone else saw what was going on and they were jealous for this one's attention. And as he walked towards me, on the right side of my bed, no, on the right side, she walked towards me on my left. I raised my hands to both as I lay there. She came towards me, one hand reaching out to each of them in the dark. Now think about that. I keep saying I'm reaching out. One hand reaching out to each of them. So it's like we're crossing over. Or maybe I am reaching out to two, right? The masculine and the feminine, the mother and the son, the father, and I don't know who I'm reaching out to. I felt I was reaching out to my twin, to the parents of the ones who took me in, whoever this was. So, as I was reaching out to both of them in the dark, but Siam pressed forward more determined. Now, Siam is a mirror of my twin. I've told you guys all that many times. He was the one that was more determined. And when he got to me, he pushed his face into mine very hard. And he snuggled his head into my cheek over and over, pushing. He was saying thank you to me. I know who he is showing me. I know who is saying thank you to me for saying what I did in the reading yesterday. That's when I began to pray to my father and mother to please help him get to me. The tears pouring down my face as I prayed. And Siam kept his face pressed into mine, calling to me and crying as he did. I was moved to go find this. I want to share this beautiful poem that was shared with me the other day on my YouTube channel that mirrors the feeling of the love I feel towards my spiritual twin. I almost titled that reading, Have You Ever Known a Love So Pure that it was known as, it felt innocent? This poem expresses how I feel. Isn't it beautiful? Just as I finish these last words, I hear the Canadian goose flying by, calling out. Their messages never leave a wounded bird behind. When the flock goes to fly away, if there is one that is hurt, ill, or dying, one will stay behind with this one until they pass, until they heal, or are strong enough to fly, before flying on to join the rest of the flock again. And the poem was, a million stars up in the sky, one shines brighter, I can't deny. A love so precious, a love so true, a love that comes from me to you. The angels sing when you are near. Within your arms I have nothing to fear. You always know just what to say. Just talking to you makes my day. I love you, honey, with all of my heart. Together forever and never to part. And so I went to look it up. I asked this person who posted it if they had posted it, if they had written it themselves. And they didn't answer me. So I looked it up online. And I looked it up on my phone. So it's called, I posted at the bottom here. Come on, Sherry. I looked it up, and I found the name of it. Oh, come on, computer, work for me. Thank you. I thought it was the author, because I wrote in the beginning of the word, and it said, the love garden, a place where true love grows. So I went online, and I went to, this is what I do. This is how Spirit leads me. The love garden, a place where love grows. A love garden. So let's see if I can find it. Please help me find it. Blogs. It's a blog. It's a blog spot. Come on. Oh, come on. The love garden. A place where love grows. Blog site. Can we do it? The Garden of Love. No, it's not the Garden of Love. It was very difficult for me to find, actually. I had to keep searching for it. Blog. Come on. The Garden of Love. There's so many called the Garden of Love, right? But this wasn't. This was a blog place. I'm not going to be able to find it right now, which is, there may be a reason for it. I don't know. But I was led to this place, and I thought, oh, here it is. But I couldn't find that poem. And I scrolled down, and I saw this person's name, Allie Johnson. Her name is Allie Johnson. Allie Johnson. Allie. Lacey. Allie. Allie Johnson. So, Allison Johnson, Allie Johnson. Come on, help me. I can't find it right now. It's too much. So anyway, I started to read what was written there. And what I read was what I experienced in my dream. This was someone who spoke about, as a child, being trade-handed from relative to relative to be used, her gentle body being torn apart, and then being traded again and again, and then growing up that way, and then because of that, having that as a start, being used and allowing herself to be used again and again in this way in her life until she finally found her voice. And I left her a huge message, and it said that your email address will not be released, but I wrote this big message to this Allie Johnson, and I said, my name is Sherry Columbus. I have a YouTube channel and a Facebook channel. I'm a spiritual guide and teacher. I have gifts that one of the gifts is prophetic dreaming and astral traveling. I told her everything, and I said, I just dreamed your life. And I know that it's not just you. Remember, it's not just about you. But I thanked her for using her experience and using her voice to help others and show them. I said, I do what you are doing, and I thank you for taking what you've been through and using it to help others and show them that they can also take their power back and use their voice and be strong and help others and show them how to take their power back. Now, in the dream that I watched, and I gave her my email address, I hope she contacts me. Now, in my dream last night, I didn't share all of my dream. There's something else that's missing. Oh, come on. Are you serious? Everything's been shut down for some strange reason. I'm going to start shutting down the things that I don't need to. have up here? I started to get very upset because I was watching, what I was watching was somebody trying to help another. Like I said, I've seen this person who I thought was my twin. Come on, help me in there. Like now I can't even get into my email address. Seriously? Are they going to lock me out of this again as well? Great. It's telling me that my password is incorrect. Perfect. That's just great. That's what they did the last time. So in this dream, I'll try and recall it. I watched, as I said, this person that was trying to help this girl. Well, he meets this family. He begs this family it's a religious family. He meets this religious family and their daughter. And he's with this group of people, these elite people, and they're pretending to be also religious. They're not. They're not. They're pretending to do this. And they go over to what to me looked like Jehovah's Witnesses. And one woman went up to them. It looked like the mother of the person that saved me, and made a donation. And then this guy walks up behind and he does the same thing. But he doesn't mean it. He's full of shit. He's making fun of them. And I said, don't make fun of them. Don't do that. And I called him out in front of, and that's the one that was the father of the one, right? So somebody pretending to be, remember the mimics? So it's like my work that I do, and I get these emails or these messages on my YouTube channel. Oh, you're doing a fabulous work. Oh, you're amazing. I know for a fact that many of those are not real. I know for a fact what I'm being shown, right? It's not my job to call you out, right? I'm not going to spend my time worrying about who is the Mockingjay and who is true. But I saw it, right? But there was one that said, don't make fun of her. Don't do that. And so this one, and it felt like me, fell in love with this girl. And in this religious family. But the religious family didn't want, remember the beginning story? The girl he fell in love with and the family didn't want him? Well, remember I said that my father said something about my twin? He's an asshole. He didn't even know anything about him. He was just mad at relationships in general and didn't want me to be with anyone because he was alone. So he said that, right? He's never met him. He doesn't know anything about him. He just knows he's not in my life and I was hurting. So it wasn't personal towards my twin, and yet maybe my twin saw that. Or maybe it's just a mirror of what my twin himself went through, right? This person he grew up with, that he loved, family, never liked him, approved of him, right? So anyway, in the end, he's trying to, what I watched was, I walked up to this guy that I knew, and he's naked. And yet I looked down and I didn't see a penis. There was no penis. And I said, where did it go? And then he pulled it out from underneath and he said I had to hide it so that they wouldn't know. So that's another message, like I had to come to you as a woman, pretending to be a woman because I'm being watched, right? Or whatever the situation is. Or maybe the person was literally trying to save themselves. Transgender or whatever, or I don't know, they were pretending or whatever it was. So basically what I watched was somebody trying to help another, right? And there was this girl that was so into it. She was messed up. And she was into the drugs, and I watched them doing, I heard somebody say, I'm going to get ready to do meth. And I said, no. They were going to go do meth, and they had to do something first. I don't even know what that means. You may laugh at me if you do it. I've never done it, so maybe I'm saying it wrong, but that's what they said in my dream. I'm going to get ready or prepare myself to do meth, take meth. And I said, no, don't do that. So they were going to do something first, and then they were doing that. And so this person that this one was with was in a codependent relationship. Basically, the message, we're at an hour almost. The message to this reading is there's a difference between supporting someone and codependency. Because this person kept trying to help this one, trying to pull them out of this mud puddle that they were in. Like Prince was in the drug house, right? But he came to me. He came to me and I rescued him. I didn't go into that drug house to pull him out. Now, I've watched in my dreams, right? People going in and pulling these kids out, pulling these women out, taking them out of these places. Was that literally a service that they are? Are they actually an official? Or is this somebody who's just doing that? Who's connected to somebody and feels responsible and is trying to help them? But unfortunately, water seeks its own level. So when you jump into the mud puddle to help that one, you are now in their vibration. I don't care if you're a cop. I don't care if you're a doctor. I don't care how empathic you are, how gifted you are, how strong you are. You cannot stay in the company of toxic energy consistently and not be pulled down to that level. It's infectious. You cannot jump into a mud puddle to clean a white dog. That dog needs to come out. And this one kept going into the mud puddle to try and clean this dog. But what was happening was, as the person was giving the rope to help them get out of that puddle, the one was pulling the other in. He wasn't getting her out. She was pulling him in, thinking that I was helping, but being pulled into this. And so now this one is in there doing all of this too. I watched someone force another. Now, sex, drugs, love, it's all whatever controls you, right? I walked into a house. There was a man and a woman that lived next door. I was friends with their daughter, but I liked the older woman. He was very abusive to his wife. He also was having an incestuous relationship with his daughter. That brings us to the reason Spirit keeps showing me Paris over and over again. The song by the Chainsmokers, Paris. I hate it. I would turn it off every time I listened to it because I felt this is what I was being shown. I didn't want to hear what I was being shown. We were staying in Paris to get away from your parents. I thought, wow, if I could take this in a shot right now, I don't think we could work this out. Out on the terrace, I don't know if it's fair, but I thought, how could I let you fall by yourself while I'm wasted with someone else? If we go down, then we go down together. They'll say you could do anything. They'll say that I was clever. If we go down, then we go down together. We'll get away with everything. Let's show them we're better. We're staying in Paris to get away from your parents. You look so proud standing there with a frown and a cigarette posting pictures of yourself on the internet, out on the terrace. Do you guys know this song? That's what I watched in my dream last night. It's what I've watched for many, many years in my dreams about this couple that went all around the world and they did all of this stuff. And this one was actually in love with someone and yet wasn't going to leave that one to drown on their own. Felt loyal to that one. Remember that I'm not going to let a wounded bird leave the wounded bird behind. One will stay behind in loyalty to help the other. But the problem is if that bird kept trying to sabotage himself and pull you into it, that's not what Spirit's asking you to do. That's what the crows are asking you to do, right? If we go down together, they'll say you could do anything. They'll say that I was clever. So we're going to show them. We're going to show them we're better. We're different, right? You don't have to listen to what they're saying that you have to do. And you're safe with me. And we're going to come out on top. Let's show them we're better. If we go down, we'll go down together. We're staying in Paris. Let's show them we're better. But it didn't happen. It didn't happen that way because what happened was the roof caved in. The roof caved in. And they both went down. And I heard my twin came to me in my dream. It was my twin that came to me. He may have been talking to someone else, but somebody said, what happened? And I said, I don't know. You tell me what happened. And they said, I fell off my path. And I said, well, you're back now, so let's move on. Could it have been someone talking to my twin? Absolutely. Absolutely, right? What happened? I fell off my path. I don't know. But somebody feels responsible for another. Wants to help them out, wants to not leave them behind. Because why? Because we're empathic. And we want to reach out. That one felt like they wanted to get out of that situation. But what I watched last night was, it wasn't happening. And in the end, this family of this religious girl took him in. And they loved him. And I watched a wedding. It was interesting. There was so much that was put together. But then this morning I heard another song that I haven't heard before. What'd you say? What did she say? That you only meant well. Well, of course you did. I was wrong for so long, only trying to please myself. Girl, I was caught up in her lust when I don't really want no one else. So now I know I should have treated you better. But me and you, we were meant to last forever. So let me in, give me another chance to really be your man. Because when the roof caved in and the truth came out, I just didn't know what to do. But when I become a star, we'll be living so large, I'll do anything for you. So tell me, girl, what do you say? What do you say? So here's a message about also other things that I watched in my dreams where I showed up. I literally just showed up and I saw my spiritual twin sitting there with this woman and I thought, what are you doing here? He said, what are you doing here? I'm like, I don't know, I'm just here. I don't know why I was there. And then the song in my mind came on, the song by Shaggy, right? She caught me with the girl next door banging on the bathroom floor. That's where I saw them, in the bathroom. And he's asking this guy, what do I do? What do I do? And the guy says, tell her a story. Tell her this happened or tell her that happened. And he's like, no, I forgot that I gave her my key. How could I forget that I'd given her my key? Well, energetically, you gave me your key. It opened up the door. I didn't want to see it, but I saw it, right? So all of this is there. And now how do you handle that? And then the song Shaggy comes to mind, the song Angel, right? You were there through my incarceration. It talks about you're more loyal than my peeps, more than my family, right? So there's always one that was always there, and somebody wakes up to realize who this is. So there's so many messages, and now it starts to rain. But I wanted to bring this up today because there's so many different ways that this could be viewed, right? And we have to look at all of the different ways. It could have been sexual abuse. It could have been a woman. I fell in love with this woman. She was a star. She was hot. She was beautiful. She was young. She was kicking. Her body was rocking, right? She pulled me in. She pulled me in. I wanted to be a part of that. It was flattering. I liked it, and I felt like she liked me, and she pulled me into that world that I didn't understand, and my body didn't know how to react, and I thought these people were my friends, and they weren't my friends, and I felt like, so I was forced, it felt like this was forced upon me. I felt like I couldn't get out of it. I didn't know who I could turn to. I didn't know who I could trust. Why should I trust you? Why should I trust what the love you have and that you're professing is real? Because you look like her. You sound like her. She did that too. How can I trust you? She did that too. How can I trust you? So it made me very heavy and very sad when I was finished, because years ago when I left Wisconsin, I told you that when I was in Wisconsin, I was there, and there was a person that I connected to. He was also an energetic connection. It was to lead me there, and I thought that person was my twin soul. I truly did at the time. Didn't make sense to me because of the things that were happening. I've learned so much since then, but he was a catalyst to get me there, right? But I was leaving. Spirit was making me leave. They said, no, it's time to go. Whatever I needed to do at that place, I was supposed to go and awaken him, that person, and connect with others and awaken them. And my job was done. Spirit kind of has used me like a satellite. And I feel they've done that with my twin as well. He travels all over the world. I feel that wherever he goes, he shines his light, and he wakes people up, right? But they take us away, and they move us around, and I needed to be taken away from that because I was getting embroiled in the music industry. I was writing songs, singing, my friends were all musicians, and I wasn't focused on my spiritual path, which is what I was meant to do. So Archangel Michael came to my room, remember, and said, you're going to Sedona. But that night, before I left, it was called Dark Songs, and it was at Halloween time, and there was a costume contest, and I dressed up like the White Rabbit. And I had the white hat, I had the pocket watch, and I said, I'm late for a very important date. And I was. And there was a very important date that I needed to get to. I needed to get to Sedona by a certain date, which I didn't know for 4 years after that point. I won in the costume contest as the White Rabbit, right? There were 3 of us that won, and I was one. And I felt this morning, after all of this came out, and I thought to myself, the farther I go down the rabbit hole, that rabbit pulled me in, right? I was thinking I was the White Rabbit, but I feel more like I'm Alice. And that rabbit was pulling me down into that rabbit hole. And the farther I got pulled into the matrix, the deeper it got, the deeper the hole became, and the bigger everything got. And it was so overwhelming. And I said to you yesterday that that reader sent a message out to the twin soul of me. Pisces, your twin soul is overwhelmed. Your twin soul is leaving. She's pushing this away, and she's going on her own journey because it's too much. It's too much for her to do anymore. And I said, don't say that for me. Don't say that for me. I'm not going anywhere. But I got to tell you, when I started to listen to all this morning, and I watched all of this, and what I was being shown, my twin connected to this other woman that he's in love with, that he's trying to help, that's pulling him down, I thought, there's a difference between supporting someone and codependency. I don't want to be in a codependent relationship. I'm not a codependent person. And yet, to stay in a situation like that is absolute codependency. That is not supporting someone. That's not helping someone. That is being pulled into their cesspool. And Spirit said to me, when your twin leaves his triggers, the ones who trigger him. He will be 98% cured of whatever it is that's bothering him. And it applies to me as well. Whenever I leave my triggers, I would also find my own healing. And so that's why I'm so protective of my surroundings. I have been very isolated. Spirit has kept me isolated. And now they've said it's time for me to come out of my isolation, but I am to go to my tribe. That's why I kept moving to try to get to Sedona, because there's a lot of spiritual energy there, right? And I literally felt this morning that, wow, maybe I am going away. My heart is always with my twin. I love him very much. But if he is embroiled in a situation with someone else that he feels that he has love for, that he's trying to help, he feels that there's a love there, he's not awakened to our connection. And I find it very difficult to believe that, because he's the one who woke me up. But often when in twin soul relationships, that's what happens. The divine masculine comes to awaken the feminine, and then they leave. And then they go about and go through all their karmic lessons. And it's like, why did you awaken me and then take off? Because I have a job to do. I have work that I need to do, and so I have to keep my vibration high. And as I lift my vibration, since I am connected to my spiritual twin, his vibration lifts. Wherever he is, if he lifts his vibration, my vibration will lift. But it doesn't do anybody any good if I allow myself to go down. So when I watched this one pulling, see, he thinks he's pulling this one out, but this one is pulling him in. All day yesterday, I told you, not yesterday, the day before, I took the day off. I didn't work. And I went to this giant thrift store. And as I went through the thrift store, I kept seeing the same message. 3 times on 3 different sweaters or shirts, it said, do not text your ex. Don't respond to his text. Or no, do not text your ex. Don't call your ex. That's what it was. Don't call your ex. Don't text your ex. And I thought, why would I do that, right? I'm not talking about him. And I knew exactly who they were showing me. Because I have an ex who's a very spiritual person as well. He's also a spiritual teacher. He's a leader. He's got a page of his own, and he's got many, many followers, and he's very gifted. He's also been through a very toxic relationship. When I went through all of this last night and I watched him with this woman and this family, the first thought was, I want to run away. I want to go away. I just want to leave. I can't do this anymore. This is too much. This is too overwhelming for me. I just keep being pulled further and further into the rabbit hole, and it just keeps opening up deeper and deeper. I can't save the world, right? I got to save myself. So that's what it's about. It's about, you can't save that person. I can't fix you. You can't fix them. You have to understand when it's time to cut bait on that staff. There's a fishing lure. It's time to cut bait, right? If they're pulling you in, you're not pulling them out. They will keep you strung along in there because they want your energy. I watched this one who is saying to this person, I just need time, I just need time, I just need time. But it isn't time that they need. This person doesn't want to look at what's gone wrong in their life. They're better. They like things just kind of going around and around. They'll go to the next thing. They'll always go to the next thing because they don't want to look at it. They don't want to look at it. They don't want to heal it. It's easier for them to jump to the next thing, but they'll tell you that they just need a little space because they want to hold you there, but they'll never fully be there ever. And they're always looking at someone else. And so the first thing that came to my mind was to run. Second thing that came to my mind was, I want to call my twin. God. That's not what I said. 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 Oh, wow. That's not what I said. That's what I should do. That's my higher self speaking. God, that's so strange. When that happens, I know what I was going to say, but my higher self took over. Wow. What my ego, my fear wanted to do was text my ex and say to him, can I talk to you? Can I talk to you about this? Because I know you'll understand. But all day yesterday, I saw the subliminal message over and over again. Don't text your ex. Don't go back. Don't call your ex. And I knew who they were showing me. But right now, what I said I wanted to do was call my twin. Of course I would want to call my twin. I don't know his phone number. Of course I call him energetically. So maybe that's the higher self speaking and telling me, You just showed yourself. Remember, I said when you listen to yourself, you get your own answers? What I wanted to do was call my twin. So I'm calling my twin because that's what I'm supposed to do. I'm calling on you. That's what I'm supposed to do. You're supposed to help me like I help you. So I'm calling you. I'm calling you. No one can help you but me, and no one can help me but you because we're one. Don't call your ex. Don't text your ex. You call your twin. You call your twin in. So that's what Spirit's telling me. Call your twin. Beloved of love of my love, heart of my heart. Come to me. I'm calling you. Okay, there's a lot said there. So we're going to go inside because it's starting to rain and I don't want my computer to get wet. Actually, you know what? I really don't want to go inside. I'm going to take the computer inside, I think. I think I've told you all of the things that I need to say. When the roof caved in, yeah. So I'm going to go and I'm going to bring a couple decks. Funny, I rhyme again, you know? I said, don't text your ex. Go get your decks. Don't text your ex. Go get your ex. Go get your decks. I'm going to let you guys just watch this for a second. I'm staying out here. So I'm going to put up the tarp. Don't text your ex. Go get your decks. So it might be someone else, too, that is in a position where they want to text their ex about something, and there's their message. Don't do it. Don't do it. It's not going to help you. It could be somebody that is actually doing something that's harmful. Wow, it's really starting to come down. I love the rain. Okay. Hear a dove cooing? Sorry. There's a dove cooing too. I know you're not seeing a whole hell of a lot. I'm doing this live. Coffee break, you guys. Go get your coffee or your water or whatever. Whoa. Wow, just got here just in time. Woo, it's starting to pour. Sorry, everybody. I told you I was a climber. It's not up the way it's supposed to be up, but it'll work for right now. I'm sorry, that probably took like 15 minutes. Okay, so I was told when I went inside, one deck. I was told to use a Divine Circus Oracle. And I was told not to text my ex. Right? I call in my twin. Don't text your ex, call in your twin. Okay. Sounds good to me. I'm trying to wipe off my desk here. So the items that we're going to choose from today are going to be the lilies. They're in honor of my twin's grandmother. I don't know why, but they are. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 flowers about to burst. Might be my grandmother too. Remember the grandmother that connects? The ancient one? 5. A significant change is taking place in your life. Why? Because there's problems, because there's issues, because there's arguments, disagreements, because there's problems that need changing. And so because of that, a significant change needs to occur, and because of that, a significant change is occurring. Wow! A dove literally just flew straight at me and landed on the corner of the roof. I mean, I thought it was going to fly right into the window. A dove right then. So a significant change is occurring. Dove speaks of prophecy. That's the first thing that came to mind. Soulmate connections, love, peace, tranquility, taking a breath. When things get difficult, just breathe, right? We need to breathe. Good idea to call upon Spirit for help with these changes, because sometimes they're difficult, right, as we go through them, definitely. Another item that we're going to choose from, I told you yesterday, that little cactus flower. This is the one, actually, my girlfriend gave me. It's like a jade plant, and it's a succulent, and when I had it inside, it didn't want to be inside, it wanted to be outside, and this flower dropped its petals, all of them fell. And I said, oh, why did that happen? It wasn't happy where it was. It actually should be where it should get the rainwater, I think. Mr. Rosewood's down here. He's doing much better, as you see. I'm going to put this one over here. Sorry. I just broke off a leaf. I'm sorry. Shoot. I broke off a leaf when I did that. Damn it. Where did it go? There it is right there. Sorry. I was trying to help. See? And that's another message. I was trying to help and I broke something. So maybe that's what I did. I was trying to help and I hurt somebody. Right? Or maybe somebody else was trying to help and it hurt somebody. People make mistakes sometimes, no? They don't mean to hurt. They're trying to help. Let's do the sun, the divine masculine, for growth and happiness and forward movement. And let's do the lion. I came in with the lion, people. The lion, compassionate, loving lion. There's a Leo involved with my twin, and I felt like it was a woman. It might have been a man. I don't even know, and I don't even care. But let's give this one love, right? Let's give love to the Leo, whoever that one was. So we have the gentle lion. We have, the lion, yeah, let's just leave it there. The gentle Leo. I know a gentle Leo as well. The lily flowers, the gentle Leo, the sun, and the mermaid. No, let's do the angel, the garden angel. She's all rusty now. I had her. Everywhere I've been, I've had this angel in the garden. She's an angel of peace. She's got an amethyst that she wears around her chest. Amethyst is for calming, for peace. It's protection as well. And she's got angel wings down here. Oh, this was here. I didn't know. Shoot. On the back, I had put this little antique pin, and it was a bluebird of happiness, but it got rusted. I wonder if I can fix that. Anyway, she'll be the last item. Okay? So let's begin at 1 hour and 23 minutes. It's the longest reading on the face of the planet. Correct for neutrality on all levels. For those who chose the sun. The sun, the lily, the lion, the angel. The sun, the lily, the lion, the angel. The sun, the lily, the lion, the angel. Okay, so lily is the mother. The sun is the lion. The sun, the sun, the lily, the lion, the angel, the sun, the lion. The sun, the lily, the lion, the angel, the sun, the lily, the sun, the lily, the sun. The son and grandmother, the son and the mother, the son that had the gifts, the mother, the cold mother, the bipolar grandmother, the angel, the sun, the lion. I'll have to hear it later. For those who chose the sun. Cherry on top. All of the work that you've done up until this part, until this time, you feel like it's a never-ending journey. You're never going to get there. You've put in so much hard work and you're exhausted and you're tired and you want to run away. You want to call your ex. You're done. You feel like it doesn't matter how much I do. I'm never going to get this accomplished. No matter how much I put in, I hit another dead wall, a dead end and a brick wall. And I feel like the further I go along, the farther I go into the matrix, right? This is me talking. And yet we're so close to success, Spirit says. This is the shot in the arm that we need, right? All we have to do is one final thing. We've worked so hard for such a long time. It's developed. And what I heard in my dreams too is you need endurance. You need to endure. Don't give up on this one. You need to endure. It was to me about my twin. Don't feel this one's pushing you away. You need to endure. You need to persist. You need to show this one love. You need to show this one that you're different, that you're not like that other one that hurt them. You've been working so hard and so much we've already accomplished, and yet we may not realize that. It feels like we've got so far to go. Like we have I'm looking at the boats coming across the water and it's like you never get to the other side. But Spirit said it's just one final thing that keeps us from completing. It's a finishing touch, a final detail, the cherry on top. We've got to put that final cherry on top. What is it that we need to do? We work so hard and yet we don't see the success. And that's the way it feels sometimes. But Spirit said so much is already done. They don't want us to waste everything that we've put into this. I even said yesterday, don't quit before your miracle. Something wonderful is going to happen today. Don't quit before your miracle. There's just one final thing. Don't waste all of this effort. All we need is that cherry on top. The finishing touch. What is it? What is that finishing touch? On this never-ending journey. Well, why don't we just visualize or imagine seeing it complete, seeing what you have been striving for as complete, seeing that moment of victory. Imagine it. I think we have an affirmation in this book for these cards. So basically, Spirit says everything's going to work out. Inevitably, it is going to work out. So they want us to feel the satisfaction. They want us to feel that I want to feel that hug. I want to feel that hug. Those arms. Feel the arms wrapped around you. Feel the words being spoken. Well done. Good job. Feel the words spoken. You got the position. Feel what it feels like to see the check in your hand. The house is sold. The divorce is final. The baby's being born. The baby's okay. Will you marry me? Yes. Whatever it is. You're supposed to imagine whatever it is for you. And then there's an affirmation. My efforts come together now in perfect timing and in perfect grace. So that's for the sun. Correct for neutrality on all levels for those who chose the lily. The lily. I chose Lily. Correct for neutrality. I named my cat Lily. She was my mom. She was a mirror of my mother. Maybe she was a mirror of my twin's mother. All I know is she's the grandma. And she passed. And she works with me in spirit. She comes to me. And she's saying 5 5 flowers are going to bloom for you this year. Big changes are going to happen. Changes that are meant to happen. She's blooming 5 flowers for me this year. Correct for neutrality on all levels. For those who chose the lily. Oh my God. Death shall not take him. When you've just about given up hope. When you're ready to walk away. When you're ready to throw in the towel. That wooden boy comes back to life. When you feel like everything you've done has fallen on deaf ears, suddenly they hear you. And life comes back into the eyes of the one who's been frozen. Every door that has been slammed in your face, finally someone opens it. Every brick wall you've hit, and finally you find a way through. I just heard, "Don't let go of me." The eye opened up and said, "Don't let go." Remember the song yesterday? Don't give up on me, because I'm not giving up on you. Don't give up on me. You're going to witness the impossible become possible. You're going to witness a resurrection. You're going to witness what you think can't be, and it will be, because look who's stepping in. Our Father, breathing life back into this one. Divine intervention. When something seems over and it's not over. Right before your eyes, everything's going to change in a blink of an eye. Death shall not take him, no matter how many times you have failed. No matter how impossible the odds. No matter how many people are in front of you. No matter how impossible it looks. Remember yesterday those 2 hummingbirds were going to accomplish what seemed impossible to themselves as well as to others? This is it. So Spirit says if you have to doubt one more time, go ahead, but soon replace that with witnessing the impossible. Relax and sit back and allow Spirit to dazzle you with their brilliance. So there's something that you can say here. Someone who's frozen and held in the arms of addiction. Someone whose emotions are frozen solid. Someone who looks like they have given up on life. Is telling you, it's like someone screaming at you from inside their head. They're in a coma and they want to pull the plug, and the person's saying, "Please don't give up on me. Please don't give up on me. I'm not giving up on you. Don't give up on me." That's what they're saying. So if this is a health challenge, you're going to turn a corner. Dear universe, dazzle me with your life-affirming brilliance. Bring the best, boldest, and most beautiful things to life in me and in my world. I am ready to be rocked by your loving power. Stone is warmed by the blood of life. The universe dazzles me with its life-giving blessings, and all I need, all I love, all I want, and all I desire comes to life in me and in my world. This card is not only called Death Shall Not Take Him. It's called the Resurrection. And the number is 3. Full circle completion. The Ascended Masters working with me and you. I named that for Lily. Lily has gone into spirit. And look on the fence. That's a black Phoebe. Phoebe picks off the flycatchers, the distractions. That's what they do to keep you on your path. Don't get caught up in the distractions. Don't be distracted. Lily passed into spirit, and I said, I called. What did I say yesterday? I'm calling on the grandmother. Help me. Help my twin, right? I'm calling on the ancient ones. I said Lily was an example of my mother, but also the grandmother. 5. A significant change is occurring, always for the better. Call upon Spirit for help with these changes. And we did. And now an Ascended Master is working with us. Lily is working with me. Lily is working with my twin. And there's an Ascended Master, or many, working with you. Archangel Michael, whoever it is, we have myriads of angels working on our sides. I needed to see this. This is how Spirit keeps me going. I was ready to text my ex. If I hadn't remembered that message that I saw. Now, why did I see that sign again and again and again? Because they knew what was coming. They knew what I'd be feeling. Don't do it. Call your twin. Call him. Right? Love of my love, heart of my heart, come to me. Open those beautiful blue eyes. Come to me. Wow. Why do women cover their faces when they cry? Because we make ugly faces when we cry. We can't control our mouth. I can't control my mouth here anyway. Listen to that. I can't control my mouth. Seems to be my problem my whole life. Can't control my mouth. Even frozen, I continue, right? Correct for neutrality on all levels. For those who chose the lion, the gentle lion. Correct for neutrality on all levels. For those who chose the lion. Remember what they told me? The King of Wands is a Leo. And I was so angry at that Leo in my twin's life, right? Is that someone I should even be angry with? I don't know. Maybe, why do I keep calling him a gentle Leo? Or maybe the gentle Leo isn't a man. Maybe it's a woman. Maybe it's the one he was in love with. I don't know. But there's love coming from me to that Leo, right? There should be love coming from us to everyone because we all have shit in our lives to deal with, right? My friend Troy, he's a Leo too. There's a lot of Leos in the world. But I came in with the lion, people. There's my mane. You can see it. I did. I came in with the lion, people. Look it up. And so that's also me. And I'm not a Leo. Correct for neutrality on all levels. For those who chose the gentle lion. There's the difference. Not the mean lion, the gentle lion. Whoever that was, right? Correct for neutrality on all levels. Maybe that's me. Correct for neutrality on all levels for those who chose the gentle lion. See, I can't choose that one because that was the person in Wisconsin. I can't choose that one. I'll choose the guardian angel. This is me, right? But I respect you. Correct for neutrality on all levels. Oh my God. I should have chosen it because whoever chooses this is chosen. You are the guest of honor. You have lied, stolen, begged, borrowed, and stolen to get into this place. To be accepted by these people. I've dressed the way they dressed. I acted the way they acted. I did what they wanted me to do. I would have done anything to be accepted by them, but I wasn't. I wasn't chosen. I wasn't chosen. Maybe I wasn't chosen by the one that I think. But somebody was chosen here. This one would have done all of that to be chosen by that one. I just pointed at Leo. I would have done everything, right? But I wasn't chosen. And so I went out and I did my own thing, right? And I worked hard. I'm talking about all of us. I worked hard and I did my thing. I was on the outskirts. I've been on the outskirts my entire life. I've always felt different. I've never quite belonged. I've always felt just a little bit outside of everybody, right? I didn't have that special ticket. I didn't grow up in that elite society. I was not cool and pulled in. I was always different. But it taught me to be strong. And I went out and I did my own thing. And now I don't feel like I don't need you. I don't need to belong there. I don't want to belong there. I don't need you. I'm fine on my own. And yet now, here comes a letter in the mail. I've seen this letter in my dreams. I've watched this envelope come to me with a gold stamp. It had a stamp with like a wax seal. It was addressed to me. And it says, you are the guest of honor. You are now being invited to the table of the place that you always wanted to be, but you were never included in. You know, I went last night or yesterday, when I lived in Wisconsin, there was a festivals like that's why I went the very first time. I went back to see my friend Troy play in this festival. It's called Dark Songs, I told you. And then there was Steel Bridge and Love on Holiday. And I read this article yesterday by Pat McDonald. He's the founder of it. And he was talking about how they're no longer going to. It used to be that the pubs, festivals were basically supported by the pubs, right? The musicians would play in all of the different bars, and the more they drank, the more that they would want them to be there. And it ended up being this all about alcohol and all about drinking, right? And I really loved what Pat said. He said, we're not about alcohol, so we're not going to use the bars anymore. We're not. Because it might surprise you. You look at us and you see us dressed in black clothes and we look different and we're on the outside edge and you have a thought in your head about what we must be like, right? But to tell you the truth, most of us don't drink. We don't do drugs. We're just musicians and we just want our music and our expression out there. So we don't want to be in the bar scene. And we're going to be at the theater. We would rather have people that come to the Tap Theater support us. And when the bars start realizing that it's important for them to have our music there, that they want us, until then, we'll stay here. I love that. I was so proud of him for that. And I thought about that, right? And that's what this is. We wanted you to want us in there. But it was all about drinking and alcohol and getting the money. And it wasn't about the music. It wasn't that you recognized what we had to offer you. It's amazing what they do. They spin the bottle and they have musicians, artists of all different genres. Folk, rock, rap, country, all together. And they go in and they spin a bottle. And these groups of 3 get set into a room. All of different types of music and different types of instruments. And together they have to come up with several songs, and they're amazing because it's a mixture of all of these. It's basically like what that song "All My Friends Are Heathens" is talking about loving everybody for who they are, recognizing the beauty in all of them, not segregating, not preaching, just loving you. It's beautiful. And now you are the guest of honor. Now you are asked in to this place, You spent long enough on the outside. You're used to being that lone wolf. You're used to being out there. But now, you're coming back in. And you're going to sail right past those people because they're begging you. They want you. They want you to come and take a place at that table that you so desperately wanted to be a part of before. Now, the one that you would have bent over backwards to get a look from wants you. And Spirit says, what are you going to do? What are you going to do with this invitation? Spirit says, what's coming to you now, the gift and the invitation that's coming to you is something that means a lot to your heart. And this invitation, we want you to accept because you have been chosen. You have been chosen. You belong. Please accept it. I belong. I have pride of place. The place that only I can fill. I'm one of a kind. And yet, I belong to the United Collective. But this space is reserved for me. And I accept my invitation. Party on. And I said I wouldn't take that one. Lucky you guys. Correct for neutrality. Maybe it's because I'm the one who chose you, right? So please accept my invitation. Love it. For those who chose the Garden Angel, and I did, because it's me. I chose me. And that's what that Guest of Honor card said. I chose me. You didn't choose me, but I did. I chose me. I stood by me. And now you want me. It's all about self-love. We all have to learn to love ourselves and stand in our honor and in our truth. But also remembering, like that song, right? Don't force somebody. You can't change the world. You can't change a person. You can't force them. But we can change the world. A little at a time, a step at a time, by just being an example and by loving, right? Correct for neutrality. What is with my hair? It's like stuck. Okay. For those who chose the Garden Angel. Dark Harlequin. Doesn't she have a sassy face? What is the number? 27. So 2, that was one of the license plates that I saw yesterday driving home. 222. Everything happening exactly as it is meant to happen. With divine blessings for everyone involved, let go and have faith. And 7, if you stay on your spiritually illuminated path, as I see 2 doves fly by, it will exceed your expectations. So bells are ringing. They're ringing inside. Remember yesterday I told you I heard ringing in my ears? Bam, it hit hard, right? Bells are ringing. Something that once had to hide is seeking your attention. It wants out. You are a spiritual adventurer. Hell yeah. You're not afraid. You're not afraid to go to the edge of what you know. You went down that rabbit hole. You're not afraid of the... I should just start writing music again. I really should, right? You're not afraid to go down that rabbit hole to the edge, right? You're not afraid of the edge of what you know. You've believed in yourself. You've believed who you are. You stood strong. And yet in front of you, there's a darkness. Uncertainty, fear, the dark Harlequin. I told you, the further I go down that rabbit hole, the farther into the matrix it seems to open up. What's going on there? There's a fierceness about you, right? This one looks tough, right? I can take this, I can handle it. And yet there's a special grace inside of you too, that comes to the surface. But you've come to a place where we don't know what the hell is going on, right? What's happening? How do I work through it? Spirit's saying, I've got one final touch to put that cherry on top, but I don't know what the hell to do. What is that? Right? I'm growing. I'm discovering. There's gonna be surprises. There's gonna be discoveries. There's gonna be awkward times because I'm trying to see in the dark. I'm trying to see in the dark. It's hard to see in the dark. You stumble in the dark, right? I was trying to help, and I broke a leaf off of that plant. I was just trying to help. I was stumbling in the dark. I didn't mean to hurt you. I was trying to help, right? Why am I supposed to be so confused? Why is this supposed to happen? Why am I supposed to feel like I don't know what the hell's going on and who I am anymore? Things that used to make sense to me don't make sense anymore. And I seem to contradict myself. I'll say one thing and then I take it back a second later. Because I want to be angry at that Leo. Because I felt like that Leo hurt my twin. And yet, I don't feel that anger. I said, the gentle Leo. Because I'm wanting to see the good in them. Right? Whoever they are. Like I said, even the one that I thought, the one who was my twin's friend. And I don't even know if he's a Leo. I think he is. What if he's not? What if it's not even showing him? Although they did show me his face in my dreams. But things aren't always as they appear. I asked if I could see my twin, and he said no. He was in charge. He was military. He was in charge. And I said, when? And he said, soon. I get so sick of hearing the word soon, right? But here you are, not sure of anything anymore, just like me. And then it feels like as soon as you remember I said, you ever get to the place where you figure something out and you finally figure out what it is, and then you don't? It's like a house of cards collapsing, right? So Spirit says that I guess we're not supposed to worry about it because we can't know what we don't know, right? There's a purpose of being in the dark. There's a purpose for being in the dark. So we ask the difficult questions. Ask the questions. Ask, why is this happening? What do you want me to know? What am I not seeing? What am I supposed to understand? What do you want me to do? Right? So Spirit says, do the things that we don't normally do. We were been told to rock the boat. We were told to do something different. We were being told to try something different, to shake things up a little bit, right? To allow things to be a little bit messy. We're supposed to experiment with things that we haven't before. We're supposed to allow and be willing for things to change from the way things were. My battery is low. I gotta hurry. This is the second time I've been told that. I guess right now the messier things are inside and around us, because this Harlequin's got blue eyes like me. A duck just flew right by our heads, just right by, like literally right by. It was a mallard on the move. The mallard and the men are on the move right now. The male, the divine masculine is on the move right now. I think he realizes it's time because the divine feminine is struggling, right? So right now, Spirit says that we can expect the unexpected. Well, we almost had a dove fly right into us. We had a mallard almost dive right into us. We had a cormorant almost dive right into us. Like they're literally flying right at us. Everybody's trying to get out of the storm, right? So expect the unexpected right now. Now's the time to let the wild thing out. Something that has once needed to hide now is going to come out. Good. So come out. I'm ready. Are you ready? Because I certainly am. I'm ready because I'm tired of being in the dark. So bring it on. Bring it on. It's better than this confusion, right? Because somebody knows something that I don't know. And all they need to do is tell me a few things and everything will fall into place. So do it, right? That's what we're asking for. So help me liberate the wildness. Help me be open to grow into all that I can be. Help me. Help me love. Because there's a shadow hidden somewhere. And it's probably my own shadow. Sometimes the shadow wins, is what we've been told. The magnificent me, once concealed in light and in love, is now revealed. That's the affirmation. So let's see it. It's rocket, right? Rocket, bring it to life. All right, well, now that we struggled through putting up this tarp, the rain stopped. Is that a message in itself, right? The struggle, the rush and the panic to struggle and put this tarp up, and now we don't need it? It's up, it's there, but now we're good. Another emotional reading. All right, you guys. It's exciting. There's some exciting stuff happening. I appreciate you being with me. It's 1 hour and 50 minutes we're in. That's pretty amazing. Long reading. So happy Sunday. I guess it's Memorial Day weekend, right? Yep, there's the flag flying down there. I personally am not politically involved. I don't believe in war, but I do say thank you for ones who are trying to help others, right? We're all each trying to help in our own way. So in honor of the ones who tried to help, who were only doing what they thought was right, my heart goes to you and to the ones that were lost and to your families. Blessings on the lives lost and the ones left behind. I love you.